For those of you that I have not met, my name is Matt Cassand. I'm a partner at CIBDF. We're a private wealth firm based outside of Chicagoland area. We help clients enjoy a full life by serving as their personal CFO. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about something that we've developed, a tool that we've developed over the last couple of years that we've really seen enhance a lot of different aspects of the client journey in our world. So thinking about the private wealth business, I'm going to ask a little poll question here. What do you think is the number one, so you survey across the industry, all clients, what is the number one reason why they choose to work with a financial advisor or a firm? What do you think the number one reason is? Referral, okay. What else? Any other ideas? They like the person they meet with, yes. Exactly. 80% of people have said that liking the person and trust really is the single reason why they choose to work with a financial advisor. So for us, as you think about our business, it's clients and our team. We got nothing else. It's just the two of us working together to find solutions. That is one of the more intimate relationships that you'll ever have, aside from maybe your doctor in your personal life, is probably going to be a financial advisor. So the client experience is instrumental in what we do and how we do it. So a couple of years ago, we actually went ahead and decided that how can we institutionalize this across our clients? How can we institutionalize it across our teams so that we can constantly be raising that bar of each relationship? So before I get into the actual tool that we kind of built, I want to go back to the report card that you guys all know and love, which is when you were a kid growing up. And in order to give you some real context, this is me. As a child. Yes, you can laugh. That's me on the right-hand side. You can probably tell I didn't have a lot of friends, probably had a lot of time for my academics because look at those white shoes, the white socks, my pants are in my armpits. So I had a lot of time, so probably my report card always looked like this, I assume. And again, the old school way of the report card was you had your subject and you had a grade. Probably all of you saw this when you were growing up, whether or not it was elementary school, high school, college, that was how it was done. Subject, did you hit the bar, did you not hit the bar? But nowadays, if you have kids now, or if you have elementary school kids especially, they take a much more holistic approach. So they still have academic achievement, that's the bar that we've all said, but it's much more holistic in nature. Now you have things like behavior, social skills, group play, cast participation. It's a look at how well-rounded the child is throughout their academic approach. In my opinion, maybe a little soft, but really, really important to understand how it all comes together and how your child's actually progressing. Now, on top of that, you don't even get a grade, you get a rainbow. Yeah, unicorn for behavior, ooh, social skills, it's a storm cloud. And you get these other icons. Said a little tongue-in-cheek, but there isn't that, so there's a little bit of the new school and old school that we kind of combined together as we thought about this for our report card. So as you think about all of these different pieces that we were working on, and you think back to your days and even your kids' days, besides a point of aggravation and keeping your kids honest, what are some of the benefits? Again, we'll crowdsource a little bit here. What do you think the benefits of a report card are when you think about it just high level, strategically? Accountability. Easy way to see how well it's going. Great. Feedback. Progress. Absolutely. So all of those things. And it's easy assessment of progress. How did you do last year? How did you do in the middle of the year? How are you doing now? You get a track record of success. You were really good in math last year. You're still really good at math. Probably means you're going to continue being good at math. However, you also understand that there's strengths and there's weaknesses. Hey, you're not very good at reading. Reading's not your forte. So what can we do? Well, we can implement a forward-looking plan. We can say, okay, if you're not very good at reading, every night you have to come home before screen time and you get 30 minutes of reading before you actually go in. So if you take all of these same concepts and you apply them to the business world, or you apply them to your client relationships, you end up with what we've instituted, what we've created at BDF in order to understand every single client is different. And how do we understand the progress, the success, the measures of strengths and weaknesses? So what we did was we looked at some of those broad categories. Academic achievement, you probably all in every one of your businesses have some sort of protocol. Did we meet the objectives that we were going to do, or did we not? We have behavior. Was there a thoughtful gesture that we actually went into? So again, these are the more holistic, the softer side of things that we all know in this room are really, really important to driving that really good client experience. So thoughtful gestures. You have social skills, that mutual relationship. Do you have clients that ask about you and how your life is going? Are you asking about them? You have referrals, pretty easy way and indicator that you're having a really good relationship. Across the board, we have group play, you have socials. Are you going out to dinner or lunch? Are you enjoying spending time with your client? Do you have access? Or if you give them some tough advice, are they listening to you or are they not? Class participation, you have responsiveness, organization, time management. How are you progressing against those goals? So what we did was we took all of this and we said there are some important attributes to our business and our client relationships that we want to make sure that everyone has top of mind every single year. So every January and February, we go through 1,300 of our clients. Yes, all 1,300 from top client to bottom client, and we go through a grading process. This is time intensive. I will say up front, a really good conversation around this. Each client probably is 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes times 1,300 clients. I refuse to do math in public, so I won't try and guess on that. But it takes a really long time. However, we will get to some of the benefits that we've seen, and this has become a fabric of what we do day in and day out throughout that process. So what we do is similar to any report card. What I mentioned in the process of the benefits. So the first thing that we'll do is actually we'll list all of the clients, and we'll look at a prior year rating. So we do a scale of 1, 2, 4, and 5. You're probably all thinking, this guy does finance and you skipped a whole number of 3. Yes, we did, and we did it intentionally. So 3 is this, you're just in the middle. Is that good? Is that bad? What do I do with a 3? So we intentionally just took it out. We said you're either below the bar, 1 or 2, or you're above the bar at 4 and 5. And so you start with the last year's rating. Then we'll go through on a very quantitative approach of all of the 12 metrics. For your businesses, these probably aren't the same metrics that you all would want to measure on. And there could be 5 metrics, there could be 25 metrics, but these are the ones that we've decided that we go through. And a little bit of that old school mentality is there's no rainbows, there's no unicorns in our grading system. It's a 1 or a 0. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. And so as we add those all up, we end up getting a score. So this is where the conversation comes into play with the team. Every client is served by 2 team members, at least at BDF. And so we look through and we have the conversation of, okay, client A was a 4 last year, we got a 12 out of 12. That's probably a good indication that they are a super fan. We can move them up to a 5. As opposed to client C, they were a 2 last year. They got a 10 out of 12. Maybe that's enough to move them up to a 4, or maybe we keep them as a 2. So the scoring system, again, like I mentioned, is a fabric of everything we do. It's in a lot of different reports, a lot of different measurements, and based on all the scoring, we have different ideas or different implementation kind of goals that we want to have for 1s, 2s, 4s, and 5s. So once we go through the qualitative and quantitative approach, importantly, we have to understand, what are we going to do with all this? What do we want to have in play for the next 12 months in order to actually have a game plan? Again, all 1,300 clients get a very individualized approach. It's 3 to 4 bullet points, so we don't want anything too long, but something that is actionable and something that you can start to work on over the course of the next 12 months. Once you get the game plan in place, we measure it and track it. This is probably the part that our team doesn't necessarily love, but this is how you're actually going to get movement from your team and ultimately to the client relationship. Is every quarter we're looking through and saying, all right, how have we done on our game plan? Do we need to add anything, edit, change? Or have we successfully actually achieved one of those metrics along the way? So that's a lot, but it comes with benefits. And John's going to yell at me because how we have always kind of established client experience is NPS. But I will give you the numbers here. So when we established this 3 or 4 years ago, our NPS numbers were in the mid-80s, and we've moved them up. They're in the mid-90s now. So again, this customized, very personalized approach to every single client, and yes, again, it takes time, but we've seen that client experience increase dramatically, as well as our retention rate at its highest ever at right around 99% of clients that are renewing essentially with us year after year. The other piece that we're seeing is we're enhancing the team experience. So if anybody remembers the office and the Dundies, this is a picture from that. We've actually created a little bit of a Dundee moment within this process. Again, January and February, it's really busy, not only from a client perspective, we're also asking the team to go through all of their client base, come up with this unique plan, and then we get to share it. So we host a lunch, and during that process, we actually have awards that are given out for who did the best job over the course of the last 12 months. They get to share that story, and it's a really great learning opportunity for everyone to really understand, oh, that's a really interesting, unique idea. I'm gonna go do that with my client. And the final piece, I'm the director of growth, so we have seen revenue actually follow with all of this. So share of wallet, which is clients trusting us with more dollars, giving it over, as well as client referrals, to John's point earlier, that has increased as well, which allows us to have some of our best years in the last couple of years since we have implemented this. So all of this, I think this is a really easy tool to go back and implement within your business. Now, obviously, it's going to need some modifications for whatever is important to all of you, but it can really drive, I think, a lot of critical pieces of the business. And earlier today, we talked about, how do you put together a CX program? This directly ties to ROI and investments and the bottom line for our company. So with that being said, any questions?
7 questions. So go to pollev.com. Let's ask Matt some questions.
Matt, how big is your firm? Sure. So we manage, so our firm size is about 70 people. We manage 1,300 clients, about $6 billion in client assets that we're overseeing. So I'd say of those 70 individuals, there's 30 of me running around that really own the relationship, and about 20 or so that support that. But Deb did say bajillions at one point in time. What do you do if someone says one? So this is actually, we've dedicated a monthly meeting across the board where actually we go through all of these, we call it the CEI score, so Client Experience Indicator. And if someone's at a 1, we'll have meetings that are just focused on, all right, come with a list of your 1s, and we're gonna try and move that. This is where the game plan comes into place, where coaching really starts to work, is getting creative solutions, getting creative ideas of what else can you be trying in order to move that off the ball. Some people stay at 1s for a really, really long time, and some people will slowly move up the curve. We wanna see that progress over time. Do your clients participate in their own report cards? Is that purely an internal effort? It's an interesting idea. It was purely internal until right now, but really interesting to kind of think about that. We do kind of merge this over with NPS scores as well, just to see, okay, are we giving someone a 5 and they actually were a detractor? Those conflicts we make sure that we don't actually look at, but that's an interesting idea. Do you give a scorecard to clients to grade you? Not until now. So another great idea. We haven't done it the reverse way. This is more internally focused, at least as of right now, of how do we want to make sure that we are driving that trusting relationship and moving that bar forward. And then how often do you update the scorecard? We are updating it, that annual process, January, February, is everything going through. And then on a quarterly basis, we're revisiting that. So that's the cadence that we're generally utilizing. Explain how you take into account available needed resources, like time, people, data, process. Not sure I understand that question. Anybody want to clarify?
All right.
If not, just see me afterwards.
Yeah, these are some great questions, everyone. Really appreciate it. Matt, fantastic. Love the idea of the scorecard, and I am jealous that we don't have one.